All right. So, good afternoon, everyone. It is 12 o'clock. It is Friday. It is time for another 15-minute Feature Friday. We're going to go over Onvif Bridge again. It's something that has become near and dear to my heart recently due to a large project that we are working on in the area. We've recently had a partner of ours go and install the Onvif Bridge and run it into a Genetec system that ran for approximately 3 months. And I'll go over some of the results of that in a little bit. But let's start with what is Onvif Bridge. So Onvif is a standard developed by camera manufacturers to try to create one unifying protocol. As many of us know, that protocol has been subdivided many times. It is currently in 6 different profiles. Our Onvif Bridge supports the relevant subset of G and S, which were some of the first ones. And the important thing there is that what it does is it gives us RTSP and video streaming capabilities. Use cases. So the big one for us here, and we've been dealing with it, is police department and having us have the ability to stream into Genetec and deploy our system in parallel is one of those things that really opens up a lot of avenues and a lot of projects, especially with education and as it says right there, the police departments. Other use cases, the ability to embed video into a web page without using any extra resources. So when you're talking about any kind of housing development projects or anything like that, where they like to show video, kind of like an Earth Cam has security cameras up and embedded into the web pages. And then the ability to actually share our video straight out of a recording server into a third-party analytic like a BriefCam. So having any of these up and running is definitely something that the Onvif Bridge is really key for. I'm going to go straight into playing around with it and showing you guys some things and then talking about the test results that we had. So I have my home system here running. What you'll see is my recording server, failover servers. I've got the Onvif Bridge already pre-installed. One of the first things you have to do once you install it is you need to create a user. That could be a Windows user, it could be an Active Directory user, it could be a basic user. You have to create a role. So I created Onvif Bridge Access. I then created a test Onvif user and gave it a pretty simple password of Onvif1 exclamation point. Once I install it, I then add that user as a credential. So it's an active person, it's an active user. As I go back into my recording server, the important thing here is being able to pull the GUID of the camera out, so that way you can display it and see the stream when you're using something like VLC. What I'm going to actually show you guys is the Onvif Device Manager and how to fire that up. But the trick here is holding down the control key when you click on a camera feed. So that gives you that little extra box of information and the ID of the camera. Onvif Device Manager. So this is a free software. You can download it online. I've actually got, I pulled mine from SourceForge. So go right to SourceForge. You can download it right from there, install it. Once it comes up, it's going to start looking for a couple different things. So the name and password that you use up here is actually going to be the username that you created. And then the password was Onvif1 exclamation point. I'm going to log in. So as that user is logged in, you can see I've got several cameras in my network that are already automatically populated. That's not the username or password of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to add my recording server as a device to this list. So it's 10.0.0. And then the important thing here is when I'm looking at the Onvif Bridge, I have the Onvif port, so that's 580. So I'm going to add that as part of this. and then you keep the / Onvif / device service. I add that. Now when I click on this, since I've got the right username and password, I can actually see the streams that are active. And I have full access to these video streams to use them in any of those use cases, like sending it to a third-party VMS or anything along those lines. In order to control which users have access is actually done through the role again. So as I'm in my Onvif bridge, I go to my devices and I can actually turn on or off cameras. So read, view live. Just turn them all on just for funsies. It's not necessary. You actually only need the read and the view live, I believe, to turn them on. But now as I save this, as I go back to my device manager, if I refresh this, it will eventually start streaming that out, and I'll have that camera also. We have comments. Just to clarify for everyone, Onvif Device Manager is a free utility, not Milestone made. That is true. Thank you, Jason. So one of the nice things about the Onvif Device Manager is when you've got this open and I pull up a stream, down at the bottom, it actually gives me the RTSP that I can then just copy and go into VOC, Control V, paste. It's going to ask me for the username and password. And I should be able to bring that stream right up. Without fail, the demo always fails. Oh, there it goes. That took a little bit of time. And so that's a live stream coming from that camera that I have. And actually, it looks like it's starting to snow. Fantastic. So the key point behind all of this, and the reason why I wanted to bring this back up again, was we were all looking for use cases the last time this was done, and to get to the important part of why I wanted to talk about this again was the test that we ran. So it was actually installed our system and the Genetec system. They ran them side by side. We went on site, me and Tom Young, and we configured this up. We gave 2 streams out, so it was a controlled setting in a lab environment. They wound up sending them over to the Genetec system. When you look at the overall history of the project, the only time that the system was ever down was when it was stopped by a user. We installed it, and you can see right here, November 9th, when it was initially installed. It ran until January 28th. And the cool thing with that was we wound up with the logs out of the Genetec system, and the important one was this one. Once it opens. So 2 units, they were 100% available. They were up for over 73 days with the only expected downtime of 7 days. And this one right here, there were 0 failures. So the reliability and the stability of the connection never broke. It was always running, except for when it was expected downtime by user. Need a car wash? You do? Oh yeah, we do. That's what happens when your wife drives in the snow. The car gets filthy. How many cameras are going through Onvif Bridge? So we had 8 cameras in a controlled environment. It was a flat network. We only activated 2 of them going into the Genetec system because they still had to use their device licenses on the Genetec system. In order to do that, it had to be a 5.7 or newer. There was no wizardry or anything magic behind it. It actually went down pretty easily once we figured out how to add that stream in. But very, very reliable, high quality, and it's pretty good. So Andrew just said, been doing 16 times Onvif bridge cameras to Genetec for the past couple of weeks. Haven't been keeping track of stability, but it's been pretty reliable. It should be extremely reliable. This was a 3-month test, so it took a little while to get the details and the logs out of the Genetec system from the partner. But once they did, it was all extremely positive. When you connect with VLC, does it connect to the Onvif bridge or to the camera directly? So it actually connects to the bridge. It has to go through that port and pull the stream from the recording server. There is no direct connection to the camera at that point. With that, it's almost 1:15 now. If anyone has any other questions, we can go through them.
Just wanted to say this is also a really good tool if you need to share information or have an agency that needs to share information with other agencies. So the go-to example we always use is City of runs Milestone, and they were able to share their video cameras out with other 3-letter acronym agencies when they came to town. And it was a real convenient tool for them to do that, and then to be able to flip a switch, turn it off, and not have to give those other agencies full access to the Milestone system, but rather just to the feeds that they could ingest with any VMS platform.
Yeah, we one of the things we just did just this week actually was we had a demo with, and we brought up the conversation about Onvif Bridge, mainly because they didn't see a use case or purpose for it, and it really dealt with exactly what you just said, Jason, was that when you have those other agencies, especially in large venues, concerts, Super Bowls, things like that, the cameras exist, and for us to be able to take those streams and send them out.
Platform agnostic, regardless of what version of whatever software they're running.
It really kind of opened their eyes a little bit.
Yeah. And one other use case also is sharing video if you want to stream it to like a website. There are web broadcast services that you can pull that same RTSP stream that you referenced, and that gets sent up to a broadcast service and then gets broadcast out to where you can have hundreds of people able to watch a video stream at once without having to make hundreds of connections to the Milestone system. It's just one connection to us, and then the broadcast service replicates it.
Right. So Stephen just asked a question about, is it easy to get Genetec into Milestone? It's something that we didn't actually get to test. Milestone does have a media streaming service that turns their video into RTSP also. I know Andrew is working on that eventually, but it should be fairly easy also to add them using an Onvif driver for us as a single channel. So with that, we're going to wrap this up. Thank you, everyone.